This is the most difficult time to be in real estate, and it is absolutely the most difficult time for those people who said, hey, I'm going to get my real estate license.
Always trying to convert me, and you always tell me, come work with us, come work in real estate. So good at this. And I was like, I'm never going to leave this job.
Oh, I'm just going to go and get my real estate license, and I'm just going to, it looks like it's easy money. I don't think they really understand the rigor.
People always think that, yeah, hey, I'm gonna leave my 9 to 5. There are times when I work 24/7.
Yeah.
You know very well, I was in Greece and I was on the phone like at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was ridiculous, and it was every single night. There is no way for them to sit down with me, just train me for 3 weeks and provide like classroom training.
Okay, Eleni, I'm gonna get all the truth out of you.
Okay. I had some wine.
Okay,
so
good.
No lying.
That's the way that I love you the most. Good and liquored up.
When I'm drunk.
Yeah, because then you open up more. You're less shy. Yeah. I think that a lot of people don't know how like bold and outspoken you are, and how like crass you can be sometimes, and how you could just like, you just really tell it like it is. But at first glance, and if people don't know you, they don't know how Greek you are. But
it's just culture and background. I mean, you don't sugarcoat anything, and there's a little bit of Russian, there's a little bit of Greek, but mostly growing up in Europe. Like if you ask me, hey, my ass looks fat in these pants, if it does look fat, I will tell you, yes, it does look fat. And then everybody, oh my gosh, you're not allowed to say that. Then don't ask me if you don't, if you don't want an
oh my God,
answer.
You're the least politically correct person I know, that's for sure. If I want to know the truth about something, and really if I want to know how I'm looking or what you thought about, what somebody thinks about something, I know that I can always count on you to tell exactly, tell it like it is. Which is it's not an easy pill to swallow for everybody, and it is not the most common characteristic that you think of when you think of realtors, right? I think realtors have this reputation of being, bullshitters, right? They just kind of like, they suck up and they tell you what you want to hear because they're trying to make a sale. But I think the quality of a great realtor is just that, somebody who is not afraid to be very honest and truthful about something. You should want somebody to be truthful about something, like whether or not they should make this large investment, whether or not, they should be scared about something that came back on an inspection report. And you've always been probably the most honest individual that I know. So I want to go back a little bit, because this is not an industry that you've been in for a very long time. You are how many years now in real estate?
Third year.
Third year. This is just your third year in real estate. But you got in during a really busy time.
Really bad time, yes.
And, well, no, you got in during a busy time. You got in 2021, 2022. It was crazy in real estate.
I did. But it was, like you said, it was crazy time. You couldn't make a deal. You had 45 offers on one property. And then it was, I mean, it was the worst time for somebody to start.
And now we're in the other extreme in such a short period of time, where it's kind of turned into this buyer's market, where, before you were, like you said, you're trying to submit, a buyer's trying to submit, offers on every property.
You definitely wanted to be on seller side, and now
now you definitely want to be, on the buyer side. So you're getting to see a whole, the whole thing, both extremes kind of play out. And I think, in my opinion, and I mentioned this yesterday, and I've been doing this for almost a couple of decades now, this is the most difficult time to be in real estate, and it is absolutely the most difficult time for those people who said, hey, I'm going to get my real estate license, I'm going to start real estate. However, somebody like you who, came here on your own from another country by yourself and just made it, all these years and became a great success, you're the perfect, you are one of those people who, if you survive this, you're going to thrive, and you're going to do really, really well in this industry, and you have done very well in this industry. You came from Fannie Mae. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you were doing before your real estate career.
Most of my Fannie Mae life was in project management. All we did pretty much worked with different teams, process, enhancement, how we can get things better, faster.
No, you were in project management.
Project management.
You used to, you took that exam. What was that crazy? Remember you were studying for 7 years ago?
A PMP exam.
PMP, dude, I remember you were studying like a crazy person. It was like you were getting your master's.
Yeah, it was.
And you had this big position, you were always traveling, and I always, I was your neighbor, we were neighbors before.
yeah.
We're still neighbors, we're just a little further down the street. But I always looked up to you, and I'm like, this is like this badass, boss bitch, working for Fannie Mae, traveling. You were in DC every other week, and it was you were always dressed to the nines.
Trying to convert me, and you always tell me, "Come work with us.
Come work in real estate.
You're gonna be so good at this." And I was like, "I'm never gonna leave this job."
Yeah.
And then
then you got
life happened. Things happened, and here I am now.
You got laid off, right?
Yeah.
They were doing a bunch of cuts over at Fannie Mae, and then you were like, "Oh shit, I actually have to go get my real estate license." Because, and you had
I
a
thought,
daughter.
like, this is a very good opportunity for me to do it now because I have nothing to lose. So.
And you had a new daughter, right? Ariana was what, 2?
She wasn't even 2.
Not
she was
even
18
2.
months.
18 months when you got into real estate. First time mom, and you get into real estate. But when you first got into real estate, I didn't want you to come and join Compass. I didn't want you on the team.
That is correct. You told me go and learn the basics, and you knew, your team is working full force. There is no way for them to sit down with me and just train me for 3 weeks and provide like classroom training. So I did find a company who offered that, and I took advantage of that. And then as soon as I felt that I was ready, remember you were at my house, we had some wine, and you asked me,
I don't drink wine.
Eleni, tomorrow she's literally told me, Eleni, you're gonna quit your job tomorrow. And that day you guys had photo shoot, and you're like, I have photo shoot of my entire team. You're gonna quit your job tomorrow, and you're gonna come and do the photo shoot with my team as a part of it. And I remember I woke up in the morning, I was like, was she drunk, or does she remember this? And I texted you, and she's like, hell yes, you quit it and you're coming. We're doing this. And I remember on my way here to your house, I was trying to get hold of my manager to tell her that I'm actually quitting, because I didn't want the pictures to be out there, and then that's how
they're gonna find out.
Yes.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I was sitting in the car talking to her and be like, hey, I'm sorry, this is not gonna work out.
Well, okay, so rewind a little bit. My whole thing was you had been my friend for years. We were neighbors, we were friends. I watched you have your baby. You were in the hospital when I was, having my third child, and you would come and drive all the way from Frisco to visit me in Dallas, and you and Paul, you guys were the best, and bring me food. And
you lost all my Tupperware.
I always lose all your Tupperware. I probably still have some, but you were always, we went to Vegas together, we traveled together. We were really good friends. My biggest thing is that, business and friendship are kind of tough sometimes. You want to be really, really weary of bringing friends into business, because, when it comes to business, business is business, right?
No, that was one of the conversations I had with my husband too. He's like, are you sure? Because, when you start mixing business and friendships, is it going to work out?
Right. But that was my hesitation in the beginning.
Right.
And then the other thing is I was like, we had gone through a few people on the team. We were trying to grow the team a little bit because we had some development deals and stuff happening. And I was like, God, first of all, I thought you would be good in real estate, but you were kind of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, people thought that about you. If they knew you, they knew that you were sweet. But people had this impression of, like, again, because you're no BS. You tell it like it is. So I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is going to play out in real estate. I know that you're a very hard worker. That's one thing I do know about you. You used to pick cotton in Greece, for God's sake. She used to pick cotton to pay her way. That was my favorite story.
In this country, you all work at like Taco Bell and Old Navy, and in Greece you picked cotton.
You picked cotton.
Yeah.
That was, you used to sit in the back of a truck, and you would go out to the fields and pick cotton. And I love that story about you, because you're not afraid to roll up your sleeves and really work. So I knew in that regard you were going to be successful, but I really wanted you to go and get experience, because at Compass, it's not a company of green agents, right? These people are seasoned agents, they're seasoned brokers, they've been in the business for many years, and they don't take for granted the tools that Compass offers you. And I had already experienced what it was like hiring people on who were green, who didn't really, who took for granted everything that Compass has to offer, and took for granted what I was offering them as a team lead, right? And I didn't want you to start out that way and kind of be spoiled. So I was like, go and work. And I watched you. I watched you work for what, at least a year?
A little bit less than that.
A little less than a year. And you were driving from Frisco to downtown to sell $200,000 high rise, mid to high rise condos to people, showing 50 properties and just like going through the rigors. And I just watched and I was like, she's doing it. She's learning the hard part about doing leases, all that stuff. And you were you're always very humble. To this day, you're very humble, but it was a humbling experience, I'm sure, to do all that. Yep. And so when I heard and saw all that you were doing and the fact that you were like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful, and I'm going to show those leases, and I'm going to drive to Denton, and I'm going to drive to Arlington. I was like, okay, it's time. It's time for you to come over because we need somebody like you, absolutely. And because I had seen that you were definitely willing to put in the work.
And I mean, it hasn't changed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a deal that is somebody's looking for a $100,000 home or $1.5 million home. It's the same work that goes into it. I'm still going to drive with this couple and show them 50 houses. I'm going to drive with this couple and show them 50 houses. Yes, the reward is bigger on this side, but the work that you put into it, it's exactly the same. And it's kind of, and going back to what you said, like I'm too honest sometimes. And I know for a fact, sometimes I do talk myself out of business. Like if somebody tells me, oh, I love this house, I'm ready to put an offer in, can we go and look at it? I'm already in love with it, blah, blah, blah. But then I look at the area and I'm like, I won't be able to sleep at night if I don't tell them that this is a shitty area that you can have, especially if it's a young couple with a baby on its way.
Yeah.
Like there's no safety. I mean, I won't be able to sleep at night. I have to tell you. And I know I'm losing a deal right there and I'll probably show you another 50 houses before you decide what you want, but I have to. It's absolutely, I mean, I can't. And that's never going to change.
But I promise you they'll never go to another agent after that experience in those 50 houses that they saw.
I mean, so far, everybody is super nice. They keep in touch with everybody and, they refer their friends and all that. So, I mean, it's been rewarding, I can say.
So I think that is a mistake that a lot of newer agents make, or maybe they have a year or two under their belt. Now you're coming up on 3 years. And they think to themselves, okay, I've done it, I've closed 10 deals. Now I'm ready for the millions, and that's what my focus is going to be. And I'm not going to deal with leases, and I'm not going to deal with, anything less than, $500,000 or whatever it is. You kind of answered that question in saying that, it doesn't matter because it's the same amount of work. Why do you think it is that people get so wrapped up in that dollar amount? What's the difference between you and the majority of agents?
I think that's the ultimate goal for everybody. You just have to be patient. I will get there eventually, but I can't ignore all the little things that are going to help me get experience and ultimately help me to get where I want to get. So you can't just jump from here and to doing multi-million dollar homes. Even now, when I have a big deal or something, I always call you. I always call Nadia because I'm a chicken when it comes to that, because I'm like, what if I make a mistake? It's huge. Yeah. It's huge. It's so much less stress when it's a cheaper property and you know what's going on. It's more complicated when it's like at that completely different price bracket. There's a lot of money and there's a lot of demand from the customer. Like a customer who's spending $1.5 million has completely different expectations from you than somebody who's a first-time buyer. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But
when you say it's the same amount of work, you're saying in that you might have to show the same amount of properties.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Just because this is like 100 and somebody's looking, let's say first-time buyers, and they're looking for a home and their budget is $200,000. It's still going to take the same amount of work, right? Okay, I'm still going to drive around, show them 50 houses, maybe even more. Who knows? Before they decide what they want.
Right.
You still have to go through the process of inspection and everything. If anything, it probably requires way more work with first-time buyers on a very small budget when your reward is much better. But it does require hand-holding because they have no idea. They're blindly walking through the process. Yeah. They rely on you at everything. If I show you my phone and how many text messages I get, and they're like 3 miles long text messages.
Well, because somebody's $250,000 budget can be equivalent to somebody's $1.5 million budget to them. Right?
Right.
It's all kind of relative, and it's all about their perspective.
Lifetime savings. That's a huge step for them, and they're scared, and you have to tell them everything and explain everything to them. So yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you, what is it like? Now you went from having one baby girl to now having 3 kids at home, twin baby girls, 8 months old, and you've got your husband and yours at home, and you are in the process of still building this real estate career. What do you think is the most challenging part with your marriage? Let's start there.
Well, with my marriage, just like everybody else, it's all about the kids all day long. You know, sometimes it's 9 o'clock at night and we just have our first conversation. We literally just sat down and like, hey, how your day have been? It's crazy. And, you know, we don't have a huge support system. We do on the weekends, I'm not gonna lie. My husband's sister comes a lot and takes care of them. But during the week, what I've lost now, and I think this is what I'm struggling a lot with, being spontaneous. Like, because I woke up in the morning and I don't have anything on my schedule, it doesn't mean that it's not gonna change. It can change in 5 minutes. Somebody just texted me and like, hey, I wanna see this property just like yesterday, and I had to drive to Mansfield, and it's raining, and it took me 4 hours to go there and come back because it's raining crazy and the traffic was horrible. And what do you do when you don't have a babysitter? You haven't arranged anything, and everybody that supports us also is working. So what do you do? This is the most challenging part for me now. It's like what I used to have, the freedom to get up. Okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Now I'm panicking. Hey, how your schedule looks like. Can I leave the kids? And a lot of times it will be me on the phone, my husband on doing his own thing. The kids are just like crawling. I don't even know where they are. One is screaming there, and we're just pretending. I started closing all my windows. I like to open the windows in the morning to get some fresh air. But now I close the windows because I'm worried that my neighbors are gonna think that I'm a horrible mom, that I don't take care of my kids. Because first of all, they probably don't even know that I have twins, and they're like, that baby cries all the time. It's, you know, they take turns, but for somebody who doesn't know, it sounds like somebody's crying all the time.
Why don't you know your neighbors? Why don't they know you have twins? You need to like make sure. I would be so embarrassed too, because you're right. They sound the same. They probably think that baby never stops crying.
Right, and they probably think we're like horrible parents. And this is something that I had I'm struggling with, because before, as soon as I hear my baby just making a little noise, I'm running to her and tending to her. And now I have to be like, it's okay, let her cry. Nothing's gonna happen for 2 minutes. Let me just finish this, and you know, whoever gets the first opportunity goes and grabs them. So, I mean, that's the only way we survive. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have 2 babies in my arms all day long, and I won't be able to accomplish anything.
Would you change this scenario, the situation in your life right now, for a regular 9 to 5 job where, you know, you would be able to go to work, maybe put the kids in childcare, come home and have a sure paycheck, versus this uncertain, hectic real estate?
Absolutely not. If anything, I still regret that I didn't listen to you years and years ago and didn't start it. By now, I would have been completely at a different level. So no, absolutely not. This gives me an opportunity. Don't forget, like, I still have Ari, who's 5 years old. I have a chance to drop her off, pick her up, do stuff with her after she comes home. And those are the things that I remember I couldn't do when I was working for Fannie Mae. So no, it absolutely I still have the freedom to spend time with my kids. And it's not always like that. You know, you have time when you kind of, it's weird, but it's still better than having your 9 to 5 job, right? So sometimes you have nothing going on, and sometimes you have 5 or 10 deals going on, and you're like running like crazy woman, and you have to be in 10 places at the same time, and you just don't know how you're going to do this. But it doesn't happen all the time. So I still have a lot of freedom. I still have a lot of flexibility, and we're making it work. So yeah, I would absolutely not.
But I feel like you are handling this really well. I mean,
that's what everybody says.
But that's the way it looks.
Go to my house right now and tell me if I'm handling it very well. It's a
I bet you if I go to your house right
mess.
now, there's probably, if it's not cooked food, Greek food, that's amazing. There's probably leftovers from yesterday. And it's, when you say it's a mess, I can usually eat off of your floor. So I highly doubt that.
Not anymore. You could before I had the kids, but not anymore. Yeah, I mean, the house is messy, and we're okay. We're like, you know, Paul is OCD, so he's struggling with it a lot. But I mean, we're doing our best. Like you said, we're handling it. Like, we're not perfect, but we're just doing the best that we could. Like, We just have to.
Yeah, I think that I don't.
And honestly, they're already like 8 months old. And I mean, just a little bit longer, maybe 5-6 months, and it's going to be a completely different
Do you think this
story.
is going because when you had Adi, Aria was what you said? How old was she when you were done with Fannie?
About 18 months old.
About 18 months old. So do you feel like you get to spend more time with your kids now than you did
Oh
then?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
even though there's the chaos. Okay.
With Aria,
but
we
how about how's the income?
drop her off in the morning,
Yeah.
and and then pick her up, and after that, although you pick her up and you come home and it's still like 4:30, but now you have to get dinner going, you have to do this, so you're still so busy with doing stuff, and then before you know it, it's 8 o'clock, she has to go to bed, and you're like, okay, we didn't spend any quality time together.
So you would say that real estate allows you to have more quality time with your kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It looks like, at least, and I know that you're handling it very well, but I don't know that every real estate agent who has been doing this for 3 years with twin baby girls at 8 months and a 4-year-old child would look this put together and would be handling it so well. I really do think that you have, you're a special breed. You have something inside of you that you're not afraid of, like I said, not afraid of hustling.
Just hustling. That's all it is.
So what do you think? What do you
it's
think?
A mentality of
it's a mentality.
An immigrant or a foreigner. When you come here and you're like, okay, if I'm gonna work, I mean, I don't want to insult anybody, but like if I want to work for like $10 or $15 an hour, I might as well stay in Greece. Like I left everything behind, right? I left my family. I have to, you always think I have to make it worth it, right? If you're here and you're going to have the same lifestyle you would have had back home, then it's not worth it. I might as well just go home and be with my family and live by this beautiful life that,
Yeah, I would live in Greece.
Exactly. Now we go to Greece and you're like, it's gorgeous, but I mean, what kind of lifestyle would I had here if I was working here? Obviously, with our money, we go there with our money so we can
enjoy it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you live there, it's a completely different story. But it's just your mentality. You're here, you're like, okay, I left everything behind. I have to make it worth it. So
I think that's really the key. I think a lot of people nowadays in this younger generation, they think to themselves, oh, I'm just going to go and get my real estate license. And I'm just going to, it looks like it's easy money. I watch these Instagram reels and I see these people selling houses and they're driving fancy cars. And I don't think they really understand the rigor that goes into this career, how much chaos it is. And, having to create, you have to create your own schedule.
Absolutely.
Which people are like, oh, you get to create your own schedule. No, it's damn hard to create your own schedule because
there's
nobody to hold you accountable.
There's no schedule.
Yeah, there's no schedule.
People always think that, hey, I'm gonna leave my 9 to 5. There are times when I work 24/7.
Yeah.
You know very well, I was in Greece and I was on the phone like at 3 o'clock in the morning,
God.
4 o'clock in the morning. It was ridiculous, and it was every single night because we were closing a deal and it wasn't going everything wasn't going smoothly, but you still do it. There's absolutely no schedule.
Yeah.
And not only that, like I think I got lucky because again, I'm part of the team that took care of me. Like you guys, you're the one who helped me write my first contract. Even though I was working for a different, I was different for a different brokerage.
Mother
but
Teresa.
I came here, you had a party, and I'm like, okay, step away from your party.
Oh, I remember that.
Let's go and write this contract. Yes,
Oh my God.
and then you guys helped me with leads. You walked me through a lot of things. I mean, I would have never made it if I was by myself.
Well, because it's you. Because you're amazing and I love you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, it was never my dream. Like, I don't know if I should say it, but I mean, it was her trying to convince me all the time, you should try it. And then once I lost my job, I'm like, okay, I have nothing to lose. Let me try this.
But I think it was because I saw what your goal was, right? And your goal was to have a family and to have more freedom, right? But also feel financially secure. And I wouldn't suggest it to just anyone, but you are that person who is extremely resilient and able to juggle a million things at once, right? Because you're such a hard worker and you're not afraid of, you don't get overwhelmed. You don't get overwhelmed very easily. I think people who don't deal with, who are very anxious or they get a lot of anxiety, they're not able to compartmentalize, they're not, real estate is probably not the career for them. But you were just such a resilient And it probably is that, that foreigner mentality, that concept of like, I had an opportunity to come to this country to make something of myself. And so I'm going to stop at nothing until I become something and achieve, these goals.
I mean, I remember I had my parents come and stay with me, and I remember my dad sitting in our living room and looking around like, I can't believe you live like this.
Yeah.
I mean, to them, and our parents sacrificed everything, right? They're paid for our college, they sent us away for so many years. So for somebody to say something like that, you're like, okay, at least he's
and
seeing.
Your father.
Yeah.
Oh, God rest his soul. Sweet man. We didn't speak the same language, but would you say that that Paul is supportive of your real estate career?
Yes, absolutely. And again, we do have our disagreements, especially now when he has a lot of things going on his end as well. But yeah, most of the time he is.
Outside looking in, I think he's super supportive.
Yes, he
because
is.
He
knows this is.
Well, and also you take no shit, so you're just like, I'm going. I have to do this, and that, and here's a baby, and here's another baby.
I think the biggest adjustment for us again was me changing my career at my age, right? Like after 40, I was over 40 years old. I mean, who does that? That's a huge change, right? You completely do something completely different. And then the biggest adjustment for us going from fixed schedule, when I knew like I'm gonna go to my work at 9 o'clock, I'll be back at 4, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be home. We knew what's going on in everybody's life, and now it's completely unpredictable, at least on my side. So this is the biggest challenge. Again, like I said, I wake up, are you home today? Yes, because he's like, I have a very busy day, I have to be on camera, I have to do this, and then 10 minutes later I get a call and I have to leave. Now what do? Now we both are panicking. How are we gonna handle it? And we're still trying to figure something out, but this is the biggest challenge. The fact that we don't get to go out as a couple, and again, this is more so related to us having the twins,
right?
Rather than real estate. Yeah.
Right.
So just doing things as a husband and wife, like traveling, just us, going to dinners, just us, doing stuff as a husband and wife, dating or something like that. Like you get to do it once in a while, and again, I can't blame my job for that. It's basically because we have the twins. And when it's one baby, it's so easy to ask somebody to watch them for a couple of hours. But when it's two of them and they're like cockroaches, one is...
I can't believe you call your baby cockroaches.
Because they're crawling, and one is crawling over there, the other one is there, and it's like so it's very hard to contain them.
But they're the cutest cockroaches I've ever seen.
They're very cute.
So cute.
They're cute, and I love them, but I'm their mother. But I also have like very realistic expectations. I don't expect somebody to come and watch them for 10 hours.
But
this is
hard. Is the thing, is it's like, you have to get to a point in your real estate career, which is very frustrating for a lot of people who came from a fixed income, right? To now be in these uncertain, the world of real estate, which is so uncertain. You don't know, if you are not closing deals, you are not making money, right?
Right.
And if there's a lull, there's a level of anxiety where you're like, oh shit,
Absolutely.
There's no money coming through. So you can't necessarily, you're not necessarily in a position to say, I'm going to hire a full-time nanny so that I can focus on my real estate career.
Right.
You're trying to be the mom and still have a real estate career with an income that completely fluctuates from month to month. So I think it's important for a lot of people to understand that that's not an abnormal thing. That is the reality of being a mother of young children with a newer real estate career.
Right, and eventually they're gonna go to daycare. We want to make it at least 1 year old. I'd be more comfortable when they're 1 year old and call me.
Okay, so this is about your level of comfort.
Yes,
this isn't about finances.
Exactly. Finances is too, but if we really wanted to, we would have made it. It's mostly for me like.
But do you feel like it gets in the way of you being more successful in real estate?
Absolutely. yes.
So are you making this as a conscious choice because you don't want to put them in daycare yet? Or you?
Yes, I'm still having a hard time because, my mom used to watch them. So mom is gone now for a couple of months.
You just don't trust anybody
and,
yet.
and then she's going to be back. So that makes me feel better. Then she's going to be back and we're going to have another 3-4 months with her. So, and by that time, they're going to be approaching like 1 year mark. And then I'm going to be a little bit more comfortable maybe putting them like 3 times a week or just part-time, just to see how they do.
See, but you have the flexibility to make that assessment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be like, okay, I'm not quite ready yet. They're 8 months. A
not.
lot of moms don't have that luxury, right? It's like, I need to go back to the office 2 months after my maternity leave, or dads even. I don't want to just leave it to moms, dads or moms. And they have to go back to work, and they don't have the flexibility to be like, oh, I'm not ready to let them go, you know?
Right.
I don't know if I quite trust
I did
anybody
that.
yet.
Like within 2 months, I was back to work, right? I was trying, but
With
again, I had the
Ariana,
luxury of having my mom here, and she took care of them. So I never had to worry about like, okay, are they fed? Are they being treated well? Never have to worry about that. And again, going back to, thank God I still have my husband who's on a fixed income. So even if I'm not bringing money, or you had a bad month or something, you still, at least I know that my mortgage is going to get paid, my bills are going to get paid. I mean, are we going to have that luxurious life for a couple of months? Maybe not, but we're going to make it. Like, at least you don't have to worry about your bills being paid.
Yeah,
You
it's kind of
have
like the price that you have to pay to have the luxury of being with your kids.
Right.
You know, it's like you're uncertain, right? But at least you can certainly be with your kids up until a certain age, or spend that time with them. And
it's definitely difficult. I think the market is weird. The market is weird. Then you have little kids. You don't have a lot of flexibility. You don't have that. So a lot of factors kind of like add up into this big thing, and you're like, okay, it's a little bit rough, but I mean, I think a couple of months we're gonna be back to normal. So.
hopefully,
Yes.
but then they're gonna be big, and they're not gonna be like little cockroaches. They're gonna be like walking cockroaches. They're not the same.
Cute cockroaches.
They're so cute.
Cockroaches that talk.
The smile, the eyelashes. Oh my God, they're so cute. There's the mean one and the nice one. It's so funny. It's like you and Paul. Just checking.
There you go.
In your opinion, in your mind, what does a successful real estate career mean to you? What does that look like?
Well, first of all, just like everybody else, financial freedom. I want to travel. I want to have that flexibility. I want to be away and still somehow make money. A lot of, even you guys do that, right? But I mean, the most important thing for me probably would be, I know we talked about it before, and it has been mentioned, when referrals, when you don't have to worry about going and getting the leads or chasing those leads. When people come to you and you have like steady clientele coming to you, and you just don't have to worry about, okay, I'm having like 2 dry months when I have absolutely nothing going on. You constantly have people coming and doing business with you. So I think ultimately for me that would be when I get to the point when I have just steady income, because I constantly have clients reaching out.
You're constantly closing.
Closing, yes. I think that's where I would feel like, okay, I think I've accomplished something in this industry.
Yeah. So financial freedom, being able to travel when you want, but still be closing deals.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me. I never get to see you.
I know.
I feel like I really never get to see you.
That part is true.
Oh, that's crazy. We live down the street from each other. We work together, and it's like I see you like once a month. We got to change that.
Absolutely.
Bring the cockroaches over.
Yes.
I love you.
Love you too.
Awesome.